Pattaya City Expats Club is a non-profit social organisation and our speakers are volunteers. The club as such assumes no responsibility or liability for the professional reputation of or the quality of services provided by the speaker today.
A talk on rabies and his rabid enthusiasm for helping Thailand and Thai health, etc. And rabies is a very, very big issue everywhere, but especially in Thailand because a lot of the dogs are never vaccinated. So if you ever get just nipped at by a dog, he's going to say the same thing, rush to the nearest hospital to get a vaccine, a rabies vaccine. But also, for instance, this woman was from Norway, I think it was, and she was playing with a little puppy. Oh, this nice little puppy. Oh, yeah. And she got this tiny little scratch wound and went back to Norway. And I think they might have even had problem diagnosing her. She died, right, from rabies. So, yeah. So this is a genuine thing to be aware of. And this is the perfect man to make us aware. So a huge round of applause for the wonderful Doc Martyn. I could more. Come on up.
I want to make a statement before I start, if you don't mind. It goes like this. Since my move to Pattaya 2 years ago, there has been speculation about that I am not registered to practice in Thailand as a doctor. This is not so. For the past 5 years, I have been registered with the Thai government Sawang Emergency Rescue System. This registration empowers me to act as a medic and assist and provide care as I deem necessary. I provide this care free of charge. Because I'm 70 years old, I don't need a work permit. Thank you. Okay, four topics today. Discussion on rabies, launch of the Remote Rescue Thailand scheme, which is what my foundation that I've got up and running. A Dutch auction with a difference, we'll come to that later, and questions to the floor. I'm going to have a stiff neck by the time I've finished. It's usually the other way around. Okay, rabies, a fatal disease. Rabies, it's a viral illness. You all know that, presumably. A viral illness. Rabies is a viral illness. What is the composition of a virus? Anybody know? What's in a virus? No.
Something that's hijacked the cells. Germs.
Sorry?
Germs.
No. Genetic DNA or RNA. That's all it is. And it's folded into, it's protected by a protein cover called a capsid. Okay? Now, difference between a virus and a bacterium. Anybody?
Well, for a start, bacteria are alive, and viruses aren't really alive, as we understand it.
Do you want me to go now? Yes, that's right. So bacteria are independently living organisms. Viruses aren't. And virologists would say that viruses are not alive. Does that mean they're dead? A very grey area. Okay, so bacteria can survive independently outside the bodies. Viruses can't. Viruses need a living organism to reproduce in. And the virus has to be in the body because it can't reproduce itself independently like a bacterium can. So, is the virus dead? Well, we don't know, as you're saying, but it's clear that when it gets access to a host, it becomes live. So, presumably, it's not dead, but it's classified as dead, which is crazy. I have to get my head around that. Okay, rabies is caused by the Lissa virus, which is a neurotropic virus. That means it loves nerves. And when it infects a host, it goes in these what are called afferent nerves, which are supplied directly to the brain. And this causes the brain to swell, which is one of the main problems with rabies. Rabies in Latin means madness. This virus, a Greek derivative, means spirit of mad rage. And that's what happens to people. They are so ill. This is a nasty pathogen with 99+% death rate in humans once the illness has become symptomatic. Now in medicine, we always put 99+%. I remember when I was a medical student, the professor used to say, if they say in your examination A causes B all the time, then just tick as wrong. Because nothing is consistently 100% in medicine. There's always people who will survive, not many, and that's what you were saying. Somebody missed, the girl missed her, she died, a Norwegian girl. The virus is transmitted to the saliva of the bite of an infected host, usually a dog or cat in Thailand. Upon the transmission, the virus enters the nerves of the new host, via which it moves to the brain, where it multiplies, causing encephalitis and meningitis. Encephalitis and meningitis cause what? Swelling of the brain. So the encephalitis isn't that painful, but the meningitis is, and that's what drives these dogs wild. Eventually the virus moves into the salivary gland where it replicates, becomes part of the saliva and ready for transmission to the next host. The vectors in Thailand are invariably dogs and cats. Now the incubation period is quoted to be about 1 or 2 months, but that's not reliable because the incubation period depends on several factors. The distance from the brain to where the bite is, and whether it's a large bite, that's it. Because the virion particles, which are mobile in the saliva, get access. So if you have somebody who's got a bite on their toe, for example, with a low infusion of virus particles, then that person may not develop rabies for 6 to 8 years. If it's a big, because dogs normally go for the face, if it's a big bite with a lot of damage and it's near the nose, then you can have rabies within 4 to 5 days. That's the difference. The reason I'm showing this is because I find it interesting. But if you've got a lot of damage to the face, this is what we call the cribriform plate here. Oh, sorry, no, it's up there. So this comes from the brain, and the nerves of the cribriform plate go up into the brain and directly attach to the brain. Now, all other nerves in the body, there's an intermediary nerve between the receiving nerve, the receptive nerve, and the nerve in the brain. This is the only area in the human body that doesn't happen. You can see here, these are all the nerves, and they go up into this here, and then up into the limbic system, which is the blue bit. That's the phylogenetically older part of the brain, or the forebrain. How many brains have we got? 3, yeah. So no, they're just hard of hearing. No, so there's the hindbrain, the midbrain, and the forebrain. And of course, we've all when we came out the sea, we developed our forebrain. But the limbic system was there while we're in the water. The rest has developed since then. And that's where all our intellect comes in, which is a good or bad thing, depends how you want to look at it. Okay. So what's this sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami? Know what that is? What is it? Any idea? Yeah. The taste on the tongue. But taste on the tongue is a minor part of what we taste. How many receptors have we got? How many of these nerve receptors do you think we've got? These are just sensory nerves for taste, flavour. It's flavour. think I'd know how to do this by now, wouldn't you? Okay, so this is the nervous plexus, and it goes straight into the brain. Now, we have, anyone hazard a guess how many nerve fibers we've got, taste receptors? About 400. That go straight into the brain. So these nerves become stimulated by the food in the mouth and by the smell. Now, smell is 90% of taste is smell, and when you've got this here, and you've got a dog bite, which damages this cribiform plate here. This is where these nerves go through, and this is a very thin layer here. Then that becomes damaged, and you've got direct access from the saliva bite directly into the brain. That's right. This process here is responsible for taste sensation, and because it goes directly into the brain, the limbic system, they use aromatherapy to help people who've got various dysfunction. And that's how it works. So the aromatherapy goes straight up in these nerves, into here, and into the limbic system. So there's a scientific basis to aromatherapy, although it may not work in many people. Okay. So, a bit of gossip about Michael Hutchins. Michael Hutchins from In Excess, lead singer. No, he is. He was Australian, a megastar Australian, and he was a bit wild and he was on drugs and things. But when he was in America, somebody king hit him. He went outside. Obviously, been annoying this chap. He went outside and somebody king hit him and smashed his cribiform plate. He smashed this plate here, and from then on, Michael Hutchins couldn't taste. Virtually nothing. I mean, if you think about it, if you call your daughter Heavenly Harari, was it Tiger Lily Hutchins Guldorf, that's a bit pretentious, isn't it? Americans don't like pretension. Good for you. Okay, so and you know, he died. He was doing a sexual act on himself when he was alone, and he died. He was strangling himself on the door handle, and people say that he'd done that so many times it didn't matter. But I think, and a lot of people think, he was doing that because he was massively depressed because his life had changed so much by the smashing of the cribiform plate. Since Thailand has stopped the dog-cat meat trade to Laos and Vietnam and China and everywhere else it went, the annual death rate from rabies has fallen to about 11 per year, which isn't too bad. Internationally, in 2015, the human death rate from rabies was 17,400. Yet the WHO classifies rabies as a neglected illness, a neglected tropical disease. It shouldn't be neglected because it's really serious. Human rabies is a terrible, most fatal illness. Symptoms include insomnia, and anxiety, confusion, agitation, terror, and hydrophobia. Know what hydrophobia is? Fear of water? Oh, you're too smart, you're not. I've got a list of things here. It could be. There's lots of different phobias. I don't know whether we need to talk about it. You know, there's the meaning of paedophilia, for example. That's loving children. Necrophilia, loving dead bodies, things like that. And then there's necrophobia. People don't like going near dead bodies, including me. And then there's pedo, or not being a pedo. These are all dysfunction, psychological and psychiatric problems when people get these phobias, okay? Because it's outside of what we call the 2 standard deviations. But in in this sort of situation, he's got no control over hydrophobia, which is the fear of water.
Recording. Okay.
This chap would have died about a week or so after this episode. Mad dogs. So this is rabies. There's two types of presentation. The mad dog, he's angry, he's got a headache. Don't go near them. Their behavior becomes very erratic. They're suddenly very violent. And they're certainly difficult to, or almost impossible to control unless you have an expert who knows what he's doing or she's doing. So don't go near a mad dog. This is dumb rabies. Okay, people get caught with dumb rabies because they look at this dog that's nearly fully paralyzed and they pick it up and take it to the vet. And of course they get bitten. So they get rabies. So don't go near a dumb rabied dog. Get the authorities in to check these two types of rabies. Very, very serious. And it's very easy to transmit the virus when the dog gets to this level. And don't forget, they've got big teeth, lots of saliva, and that's the ideal environment for transmission. Okay. So what's the worst? A dog with rabies or a cat? Any idea? Yeah. I'll tell you why in a minute. This is cat. Rabies in a cat. So what happens with cats is that when they're sore, when they're sick, they hide underneath a bush or something like that and preen themselves because they've got a headache and they don't feel well. But when they're preening themselves, they're licking their saliva and rubbing around their head, okay? But it sits in the paws, okay? And so you don't have to get a bite from a cat. A scratch is enough. But people see these cats, oh, isn't that lovely? And it's so quick. And you need rabies inoculations to stop that progressing. Okay, rabies lyssavirus is a killer, obviously. Vaccine is very effective and it saves lives. Guidelines for vaccinations of your pet. Now, the bottom line is that because there's so many soy animals roaming around, as soon as you bring a pet, dog or cat, into your home, get it vaccinated. Best at when it's 12 to 16 weeks of age, followed by a booster at 12 months, and then revaccinate every 3 years. Now, if you allow your dog to go out, I mean, you should have that vaccination schedule with your dog confined to the house, but if the dog gets out and mixes with the local soy dogs, it'd be wise to vaccinate yourself and your family. Cats are completely different. You can't control cats. They'll always get out. So vaccinate your domestic cat straight away. If you allow it to go with soy dogs, vaccinate the cat is essential along with yourself and your family. It will save your lives. Step 2, we're going to my charity foundation.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What is the vaccine involved? I've heard before that if you get bitten, the treatment is painful, shocking.
Oh, terrible.
But what is the vaccine involved?
Well, firstly, it's immunoglobulin that you get, and you should get, and it saves the tissue. So immunoglobulin, so that's an antiviral hemoglobin, and that is very painful. But you protect the wound by injecting it locally, okay? The virus The virus vaccination is a human-associated rabies vaccination, which is desensitized and grown in cells. So that is what you get when you've been bitten properly. So you have to vaccinate yourself at 0, 3, 7, 14, and if you've got immune problems, 28 days.
You suggested vaccination as a cautionary.
Oh yeah, these are.
What does that involve? It's a cautionary measure.
Yeah, well, just vaccination early. The earlier you vaccinate your animal, the better. And like yourself, if you've... Yeah, well, in the humans, it depends whether you go to type 2 or type 3 vaccination. So you go 1, 3, and 1, 7, and 1, 7, and 14. 0, 7, and 14. That's number 3. Number 2 is 0 and 7. Depends on what you want. And the availability, of course.
I think what he's asking is if there's a vaccine, like a vaccine for chicken pox or
Yeah.
for rabies.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. That's what that is. This is a
So just to be clear, the post-bite treatment and the pre-bite treatment is pretty much the same.
Well, it's not, because it takes about 7 days for the vaccination to start working and kill the virus. And that's why we give the gamma globulin. So if you go and get a rabies vaccination...
All right. Any more questions about rabies before we move on to the foundation?
Can you walk us through a scenario? I'm walking down the street. I get bit by a dog. I don't know if he has rabies. I haven't contacted him. What do I do?
If you have no knowledge of that dog, go and get your rabies vaccine. And if you've been bitten, then they will give you gamma globulin first with the injection. The gamma globulin wears off after about 4 or 5 days, and that's when the vaccination kicks in. So there's an overlap, but it's the immunoglobulin that's very painful. Gamma globulin.
All right, Daryl up the back.
Just wanted to mention that not too long ago, I made the mistake of pushing my cat with my foot, and she didn't like it, so she bit me on the ankle, a rather deep puncture. I jumped in the hospital. They were very good. They gave me the immunoglobulin. I don't recall it being painful, but they did give me that. Plus, I think it was about 5 different shots of the vaccination.
Yeah, over a period, yeah. That'd be right, yeah. Because it depends. It's 4 or 5 vaccinations.
Another one up the back.
John.
Hello, Doc. I've got all your symptoms for rabies. Plus, I've got an aversion to water, so I'm drinking a lot of wine. Should I have the rabies shot?
Is your wife biting you again?
Well, coming to you, Daryl. Daryl?
Practical advice for us seniors in Pattaya. What would you recommend for inoculations for us, preemptive?
As in for rabies?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the preemptive rabies vaccination, which is if you can get that done anytime. If you've been bitten, then you probably need a 3-period schedule, but a 2-period schedule is all right, which is at 1 and 0 and 7. So that's it's just not worth it. And if the animals here are random, the soy animals are random. They could all be carrying something, and it's not just dogs and cats, by the way.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a couple of years ago on Proctomax Soy 5, just at the bottom of it, the turnaround bit there for the beach, in front of the spar there where there was a lot of people going, there was a pack of dogs, right? One of them attacked me, right? And that's exactly what happened, the treatment that I went through. So it's not way out in the country or miles away. It's right
No,
here
well,
with
it's
us.
important here. and you know, where the density of the population's higher, then there's more management available. If you go to the country, they don't care because they, you know, they're brought up with them, and if they get rabies, they die. It's very sad.
Right up the back.
I had a rabies shot in 2013 before I came to Thailand. Does that cover me forever?
Yeah, well, not forever. What will happen is that if you get a scratch or something like that, or you have a, you're unsure about the whether or not you've got rabies, the protection from your initial vaccination. When was it? 7 years ago? Did you say? 13. It was 12 years ago. Well, that's getting a bit long in the tooth, but it's though once you've been vaccinated, then immunoglobulin is often enough. But then it's, you know, if you've got a deep wound, then you need to have the full vaccination with a full schedule.
Thank you, Doc. I learned something new I did not know about the dumb dog syndrome as well. I always thought they were the violent dog.
No. The problem is that when you've got this dumb rabies, people get, oh, it's been hit by a car or something, and they pick the dog up, bang, gone.
But the question I have, obviously in Thailand, there are stray dogs and cats all over the place, and the Thai communities welcome them. So what is the plan in Thailand to control rabies then?
Well, it's
at the source.
It's been, what did I say?
It's very simple. We just eat more of them, right?
Yeah, well, they're not going to Laos anymore, anywhere like that. So you have to take it as it's a fatal illness. Once you've got symptoms or signs of rabies, there is very little chance of recovery, and it's just not worth waiting until you get the signs. Okay.
Right. I mentioned today to my good lady that I was coming to this talk, and I said it was about rabies, and she says rabies can be very seasonal. Is that correct?
Well, the dogs are out and running around, and particularly in the sex time, you know, when the males are out howling at night and conjugating with female dogs. Don't go anywhere near them then. But if you've got I've got a domestic dog. We don't let him out. He's not vaccinated.
So it's not seasonal then?
It's not. That's a difficult question, because if there's a cluster of rabies in soy dogs, it doesn't matter what time of the year it is. You understand? And rabies isn't more prevalent in any time of the year, as far as I know, except when the dogs are on heat. And that's really bad. If in doubt, get vaccinated.
Yet another question.
What's involved in vaccinating an animal? Is it just a single shot?
Well, if it's a young dog,
yeah.
Well, no, one at 3 months, one at 12, and one every 3 years after that.
Okay, all right.
That's the best way.
Could it be enough when you have a good immune system for rabies, or is it not enough to?
No.
So you have to have a vaccination.
You don't have to do anything, but you'll die if you don't. If you've got a big viral load from a dog, big dog, it's going near your face, you'll get rabies within a month or two.
Okay, thank you.
And you will die.
So the bottom line is, you get nipped by any dog, you want to go to hospital straight away.
Yeah. If they break the skin, they can give immunoglobulin, particularly if you've been vaccinated before, just as a routine vaccination, even whether you had a dog or not. Some people get vaccinated over here who haven't got animals, but they're worried, and quite rightly so, about soy animals, because they're out of control.
Yeah, I got once, this dog came round behind me and nipped me on the ankle. It didn't break the skin, so I wasn't worried. But, if it had broken the skin, I would have been off to hospital straight away.
Okay, moving right along. Here we go. Doc Martyn's Foundation.
Doc Martyn's Charity Foundation Thailand. Welcome to Doc Martyn's Remote Rescue Thailand. In the remote regions of Thailand, many people live without access to even the most basic health care. Often they live many miles from the nearest hospital or health center, access to which is logistically troublesome. In Thailand, there is no welfare support for the unemployed under the age of 60. Many Thais have no secure employment. Privation in Thailand is rife, and for many, it is a way of life. We believe that everyone, irrespective of where they live and their financial circumstances, deserves the chance to benefit from a healthy lifestyle. Further, we believe that in the 21st century, no one should suffer any privation.
Okay, this is, I'm showing this because this is fundamentally privation in Thailand. This boy and his older brother, he's 18 in that, and his older brother's 21. They had, it's called hereditary spastic paraplegia. And it's caused by cousins getting married. So this is a genetic illness that stops the growth of long nerves to the legs. And what you're seeing there is what we call clonus, which means the nerves of control don't get right down to the feet. So these chaps, the two of them, they get 800 baht a month from the government. Can't even buy a cup of coffee for that a day. And if this had been in Australia, in the West, they would not have had children because their uncle had the same illness. So he had a genetic illness which was passed through the family. And of course, with genetic screening, we would have picked that up in the West. Here, they just don't do anything. And these kids are left for the rest of their life. Oh, by the way, when they get to 60, they get 900 baht a month. And they will not survive up to 60. There should be no reason for them to die early, except they live in Thailand. That is what the privation is that I'm talking about. That is what we're doing in our foundation. We're making a difference.
Objective. The objective of Doc Martyn's Remote Rescue Thailand is to support the vulnerable people who live in these remote areas and to alleviate their privation. The Remote Rescue Scheme provides mobile medical assistance for those in remote areas. Our mission is then to bring essential healthcare services to the underserved and disadvantaged communities in these rural remote areas. To address these issues, the Remote Rescue Team will bridge this divide by the following means. 1. By providing Western standard medical opinions. 2. By providing Western standard medical care. 3. By providing life-saving equipment. 4. By providing essential medications. 5. By providing essential medical support equipment. In addition, to improve the long care and well-being in these communities, the remote rescue teams will provide 5 educational forums which include 1. the appropriate management of diabetes. 2. The appropriate management of hypertension. 3. Aisha's female health screening program, breast and genital. 4. With assistance of AA and NA, the management of alcohol and substance abuse. 5. With the assistance of RAGA's, Rotary Action Group Against Slavery, an education program to prevent child sex trafficking and slavery will ensue.
Doc Martyn's Charity Foundation will provide the funds for this medical assistance and care.
Method. By collaborating with the local Sewang emergency rescue teams and leveraging the expertise of retired medical professionals in Thailand, Remote Rescue Thailand aims to improve healthcare delivery wherever necessary. Each volunteer doctor will register with a local Sewang team to provide medical support and education for that team. This will enable the first responders to improve both emergency patient care and outcomes. Doc Martyn and his team have already changed the lives of people in 2 remote Thailand communities in Chayapum and in Ubon Ratchathani.
With your help, we can build a network of care that will reach those most in need in Thailand.
Join us and make a difference. Doc Martyn invites you to be part of this transformative journey, whether through donations, partnerships, volunteer work, or simply joining this forum. Your support is crucial to help make a meaningful impact in the lives of those who are less fortunate. Doc Martyn's ultimate goal. The Hmong people and the Karen long-neck tribes reside in the mountains between Thailand and Myanmar. These tribes, who live in some of the most remote areas of Thailand, have little provisions or care at their disposal. In these mountainous regions, there are no Sewang support teams, leaving the tribe's need for direct health care intervention even more critical.
These people are some of the most disadvantaged people living in Thailand. Doc Martyn's goal is to alleviate the privation of the mountain folk in the Mae Hong Son province and bring modern-day medicine to these unassuming tribes.
About Dr. Martyn Green, BM, BS, B Medical Sci Honors, FRA, CGP, Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery, Bachelor of Medical Science with Honors, Fellow of the Royal Australian College of General Practitioners. With over 45 years' experience as a medic, Doc Martyn, his nickname, brings a lifetime of medical expertise and experience to this undertaking. He has worked in several countries, including England, Jamaica, Australia, and now Thailand. Throughout his career, he specialized in pain management and general medicine. He is a dedicated medic. He is knowledgeable. He has significant medical facility and is an empath. In addition to his medical training throughout his career in pain management and general medicine, he developed an additional set of skills, namely spinal manipulation, the medical equivalent of chiropractic work, traditional Chinese acupuncture therapy, administering steroid injections into joints, administering steroid injections into the spine, the management of chronic pain through insight psychotherapy, utilizing hypnosis as a therapeutic tool. Since he retired in Thailand in 2017, his work has included offering consultation assistance to hospitals, to doctors, to Sewang teams, and other healthcare professionals. Since 2018, he has managed many patients in Thailand, including both Farang and Thai. To date, he has written over 130 stories about his experiences. These are entitled Medical Bytes Thailand, and they are available free of charge on this site. Medical Bytes Thailand. True stories, real impacts, lives saved. Doc Martyn will continue to write his Medical Bytes Thailand journals, focusing on the challenge his team faces while providing medical assistance with remote rescue services. In addition, his book, The Maze Within, is also available free of charge. The work is about spiritual reunification. Donations. How your donation helps. Your donation will advance the health and care of people living in privation Every donation to our charity fund is a step towards better health for those who have nowhere else to turn. Money is helpful, but there are many other forms of donations, namely medical equipment, medication, clothes, water, food, not fresh food, building materials, tools, pots and pans, plates, glasses, indeed anything. Your generous contribution will enable us to establish medical supply centers in underserved villages, provide life-saving medications and first aid supplies, set up mobile health clinics to reach the most remote areas, train local health workers to deliver ongoing care, provide health education workshops to promote preventive care. Through your generosity, our team will bring medical care directly to those who need it most. By setting up clinics, providing life-saving equipment, delivering essential medications, and providing donated provisions, clothes, water, food, etc., to those who have nothing. Your support is crucial. Whether your donation be large or small, money or provisions, it will go directly to our healthcare initiatives. The success of this project depends upon you. Donation categories: 1. Donation of funds. 2. Donations of new and used medical equipment and medical aids. 3. Donation of drugs. The Thailand Food and Drug Administration, FDA, strictly controls the availability and accessibility of medications in Thailand. Donations from overseas are prohibited. Donations from within Thailand, however, are permitted. 4. General donations. Clothes, water, food, building materials, etc. Please forward or deliver to Doc Martyn, 102 M2 Naklur Banglamun Chonburi 20150. Telephone 095-634-1088. Corporate sponsorship. By the adaptation of Toyota commuter vans, the aim of this project is to supply mobile clinics. Corporate sponsorship will enable us to expand our reach and impact. We invite businesses and organizations to become sponsors. The advertising exposure on these vans will be significant. If your company is interested in supporting our work, please contact us for more information. To learn more and to contribute, please contact Doc Martyn at telephone 095-634-1088. Tax information. The Doc Martyn Charity Foundation is a registered non-profit organization. All donations are tax deductible to the extent permitted by law. Upon receiving your donation, we will provide a receipt for your records. We thank you for your support and generosity.
I think it's appropriate that I jump in and just say something a little bit about Doc Martyn. I've had cause to take some Myanmar people and others to his clinic here, and one, they all stick in my mind as very powerful, but one, for instance, we had a kid, very young boy in his 20s, early 20s, and he was having terrible trouble with his chest, and he was involved in lifting for a living, and turned out it was pleurisy. And Doc Martyn gave him a couple of injections, cured his pleurisy, also scared him into stopping smoking, yay. So, but also we took this woman there who was involved in sales, and she had terrible sores on her face, right? And basically the Thai medical system had given up on her. We took her to Doc Martyn, who immediately diagnosed her as atopic. Basically she's hypersensitive, and you put her on, what did you put her on? Steroids. Fixed her up straight away, and he said you're hypersensitive, can't have, I think Chinese food in particular she had a reaction to. And so he took her off that. She's never had the problem since, and of course her sales went up because she wasn't now scaring people away when she was standing at a stall to sell things and stuff. So this is it's a very high quality medical practitioner. This is somebody the Thai medical system has given up on. Unbelievable. Thank you for what you do, Doc Martyn.
My pleasure. So this is my medical bytes. There's all my medical bytes, which I've been writing over the past 5 years. They're all on here, 130 of them. And then if you go right down the bottom. So you just click on here and it'll go to my web page and you'll download which one you want, because it's sometimes difficult to find what I've written on my web page. Sorry, on my Facebook. Yeah, thank you. And did you want to go to Maze Within? This is just the book I wrote about 25 years ago, so it's getting a bit old in the teeth. And just click on that and it'll, there you go. So that you can read that, if you like that sort of thing. Okay, this is the van. First example of the van, which you've got going. Hey, Remote Rescue Thailand. And that's how advanced I am in my care. I've just stripped out, it's a 15-seater and I stripped it out. And I'm going to put this in, you know, like an ambulance, but it can't be an ambulance. But I do need these shelves and things. I don't need this and I don't need that. This is an ambulance system. There's another variety of it. And then this was a low budget car. It cost me 1.4 to get it on the road. And it's got no luxuries, including no sat-nav, no radio, nothing. It's all for getting lost in Thailand. And the other thing is that Dow doesn't want to hear this, but when we go out, about 8-hour trips to where we're going to, no music, and I've got Thais in the back who talk. I don't know how they do it. 8 hours. Please, somebody donate a radio for me. Okay. And this is the plan that I've got. Okay. So this, obviously, I'm pushing for money. There's the donation system here, or if you want to become part of the car, then you can and contribute towards that. Then you get rights to have your name on the car, on the truck. You know, it's not expensive when you think of it. So the total of all those three things that I need to do is 1.23 million. And if you're like Australian, where the top tax rate is 48 cents in the dollar, that works out at 60,000 Australian dollars. But you get 28,800 back from your tax. So it's not a lot of money, 30,000. Anyway, if you're interested, just contact me. If not, fine. No obligation. Now, yeah. Last thing. We've run out of time. Sorry. Okay, just one bit left. Wait a minute. This is really important. This is my questions to the floor. I've been doing this for 5 or 6 years now, and when I was working in Buriram, I used to work with the Kumaing Hospital, and I was invited once to see a patient who had a stroke about 6 months previously, and I went with the nurse, and she forgot to mention that he'd had a stroke on the other side, a complex paralysis he had on both sides, about 2 years before. So there was nothing I could do. His wife had left him and then came back to look after him, as Thais do this, you know. And I said, look, I can't help this man. And I just took out 2,000 baht, and it was like Christmas for her. I mean, she was just crying and everything. It's really touching. Yeah, so I spent about just under 1 million baht of my own money looking after Thais. So this is this chap here. These two here. This is an example of privation. I mean, look, you've got a bike there. There's a dog roaming around, and this chap here is actually Dow's brother. He moved to live with them, to help them at the age of 10 because they had no manual labour and he had to go and work. And they looked after him for 15 years. 15 years. And I was there the other day, and they were all upset, and he was on his knees. I gave them 2,000, and it was like Christmas. It's just fantastic. So what I'm asking about when I'm addressing the floor here is that I don't want to be bothered with donations and things to people like this, because it's too time-consuming. You see, that's the house they live in. It's just terrible. It's a nice coloured photograph, but when you see it in the real, it's really shabby. So the question I'm asking you is, if you would you think a payment to these people, would anybody interested in giving them a payment every month or every year or whatever, just a donation, and I could link you with that person or those people who are suffering privation, and your small donation will make a big difference to them. That's one. Okay. And the other one, because I've never done this before, the scheduled payment system. I've seen this in a lot of web pages like this, and they have a system whereby they can donate every month or 6 months or year. Just as a group, if you were doing this, if you were contributing, what would you prefer to do? Do you prefer to give them money on a 3 monthly basis, or 6 monthly, or a month, or a year, or you don't want to do it? Anyway, think about it. These are just ways of, I'm too busy to coordinate getting money from people like yourselves and giving it to these people. And the other thing is that if I do link you with these people, they're absolutely wonderful people. They have nothing, these people, and they'll give the shirt off their back to you when you go to help them, if they had a shirt. It's that bad. So this is the privation that we are trying to cure or help or alleviate. All the words. Anyway, any comments on that? About donating to a person or a family without my involvement? Would you do something like that? I'm not asking you to say yes or no. I'm just saying, do you think it's a good idea? It's a good idea. Thank you. And would you think 3 monthly donations, 6 monthly donations, or annual donations? I mean, you're not obliged to do anything because it's all a donation system. But if you wanted to get involved, what do you think would be the best? 3 month, 6 month, or just an annual donation that I would then handle to equip my my van, my ambulance? I just want an idea from the floor. What do you think? This is Dow. She's very important. She's the CEO of my foundation. How did that happen? Okay, Dow. First met Dow on December 7th, 2021. The attraction was instant. She was petite, beautiful, happy and intelligent. But it was her radiance that struck me. Really, it was. She was perfect. Well, not quite perfect. She's got a funny colour. She was perfect, but it took a while for her brilliance to emerge. So she's not trained in medicine at all. And when I was managing Thai patients, she would translate the history, the treatment recommendations, and she would relay all the information I'd given her back to the patient, but not like, take this, take that. It was with true feeling and care. And she has great facility, now I know. And she has, on top of the facility, she has brilliant intuition and brilliant empathy, and all served with a heart of gold. That's Dow. So, And question time.
I think a round of applause might be in that order here. Questions, answers, observations about donations and how you think would be appropriate to structure, etc.
Hi, Doc. Thanks very much for your talk. Yeah, I'm a member of a Rotary Club, and so my opinions are, we've been to Maysock quite a lot. We deal with Dr. Henrietta, who is there. You might have heard of her. But we built an orphanage, and we employ 2 guys to repair the water filters we put up there in people's homes and villages, 5-litre water bottles that drip feed down. Yeah. And we pay a couple of guys to repair these about 2,000 baht a month each or something. And they drive around somehow. I don't know how they do it. But my opinion is that we also deal with a bamboo school, which is on the Mae Sot border with Myanmar. Yeah. So we know the New Zealand lady there. So my opinion is, if you can get staff to help with anything you want to do at 2,000 or 3,000 baht a month, that would be my opinion to help. I know they're not going to be doctors, but they somehow might be able to help people clean houses or help you in some way, because labour is very cheap compared with Europe, obviously. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I'm already doing it. Where I go, I'm setting up, small clinics with all the equipment for them to self-care, and those people who will have hopefully some medical experience, although you don't know. I've set up a program of 5 educational programs, and to help people. Now, obviously, you can see the donations that I want. I don't need them. I just want to give them to people, and I've got a big enough truck to put this stuff in. But yes, that's exactly what we're doing, and we're trying to take it. I won't go anywhere near a place that has a hospital within 30 kilometres. I just won't go. I'm going into remote areas where there's nothing, and that's what you're saying. These people need help. And of course, if I was setting up a system whereby they had a water problem and we were fixing that, I would pay for that, because it's part of my scheme, and that'll come from donated money. But I just don't like giving money to people without knowing what they're doing with it. Do you know what I mean? Because it just filters off. Oh, well, my neighbour needs 50 baht, my neighbour needs 150 baht. I'm not getting involved in that. It has to be documented and reconciled and everything. So I'm going to be strict, because you have to be strict with these people. Otherwise, somebody takes most and the rest get nothing. And I'm not into that.
I wondered if you could tell us, do you go up on a regular basis to these areas? Do you have a scheduled visit, say, 3 or 4 times a year, or?
Well, now I've got my van, I can go anytime.
Perhaps you let Ren know, and if you have a date in mind, it could be known to the club, so that if you give him the sort of things you're looking for, people could bring them or contact you.
No, it's look, as I say, we've done Ubon, Ratchathani, and Khon Kaen. We've been there. I actually built a clinic in Khon Kaen, 150,000, and I realised that I can't afford to go on doing that out my own money, and that's why I bought the van, and that's why it's the remote rescue scheme. So we're already doing that, and I've been to it's Chayapum, but just outside of Chayapum. We've been there lots, and I've done a lot of medical care there. And then there's the Ubon one. We have to go back there because I haven't been there for about 6 months. But this is I don't know how often we're going to go, because this is a big country. There's 75 million people here. Yes. And 24% 24% of that 75 million have got are suffering privation.
Do you have a large storeroom at home?
Under the house. It's massive. I've got people are giving me. People are so kind. They've given me so much. A chap sent me a wheelchair about 6 months ago. I don't even know where it came from. It just turned up one day, and then he noted. He sent me a message. Yeah, did you receive anything recently? I said, yeah. Somebody sent me a wheelchair. So that was me, and he's an Australian up north. He says, look, I haven't got much money, but if I've got some spare money, I'll send you stuff. And he's in the part when he found out I was doing this and it was nearly up and running, he said, what do you need? I said, well, I need to be able to set up clinics, and leave them the equipment instead of them going to a hospital. Because of course, if there's somebody who's had some medical experience and they see there's a problem, then they can phone me. I'm just driving in and driving out. I have a responsibility to these people. And he said, well, what do you need to get the clinic going? I said, glucometers and BP machines. And he sent me 4 of each, about 5 different things. So I can set up 4 clinics from his donations. But there are 5 different things that he sent me. But the 4 clinics, it won't cost me anything. And that's just one man. And we got clothes galore and food and everything. Chap the other day turned up, I didn't even know who he was. He sells water. He turns up and gives me 1,000 bahts worth of water. And I was busy with a patient and he didn't wait to shake my hand or anything. I just walked off. I mean, this is the kindness of Farangs. And it's very difficult to me to explain how bad it is in the country, and yet the contrast is it's so wonderful because they will do anything for you. They'll cook for you, thank you, they do everything, and it's kind, but there's a genuine kindness to it, and it's lovely. And a lot of people want to come with me to these places.
I'll come and see you later.
Yes, obviously Doc is going to be available and you can have a talk to him and how he'd like to be involved. And it is amazing how small amounts of money given depending what you call small amounts of money, every month can make a big difference in people's lives. Rose, with my support of course, she's putting a Myanmar orphan through a special school in Chachung Sao, and it's another conversation that I can't really have in public because it's a secret school. It's not legal apparently, and it's like 4,000 baht a month, and they provide accommodation, food, education. 4,000 baht a month, it's unbelievable. And yet, I know a mother, the husband's died, 10,000 baht a month she earns. She's managing to put one of her kids in school there every month, and don't know how she does it, but she just, her 6.5-year-old is like the smartest 6.5-year-old I've ever met. She doesn't have enough money to send the kid to school, and she wants to be in school with her older brother. And one person here said, well, I'll give you 1,000 baht a month. So we just, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm taking money away from you. No, but if 3 other people said, yeah, I'll give you 1,000 baht a month to send this wonderful young kid to school, that's, a lot of people might be able to afford 1,000 baht a month, and we can put this kid through school.
In Thailand, a little bit goes an awful long way, doesn't it?
Yeah, that could be the theme of the talk, actually. Yeah, a little bit goes a long way. The other big question is education, because, it's almost impossible to convince Thais that chili and white rice are not good for them, right? And yet, white rice is a very big cause of diabetes and stuff.
I know all that. That's why I'm doing those 5 programs. Diabetes is terrible in Thailand, and since I've been here, it's been obviously really badly managed. People are riding along they should have a glucose score of 100, and they're treating them with a glucose score of 400 and think that's okay. It's just nonsense. But they don't understand because there's no education, and that's what my educational clinics are all about. So there's the educational clinics to train people, and then there's the remote areas where we're going to just help them and leave clinics. So it's all set up. I've already written the documents and things, so it's all ready to go.
A very small token of our deep and my deep appreciation for what you do, Doc, and for The one thing I want you to take away from this and think about, one person can make a difference. Two people can make exponentially more difference. People supporting, people making a difference, make a difference. Okay? So maybe that's a good thought to take away today. I have a little bit to spare that I can make a difference to the people who